Gonna do some art stuff. Look at this. Look at this skull. This cool skull here. Man, I got a big face. Let's make that smaller. Whoops. Yeah, that's better. So, talk about some art for making pods. I should actually edit that. Creating art for the pods, man. What you can do is, with a lot of cool software, some free, some purchased, you can create your turn your illustrations or other things into vectors and turn that into art for the pods. Print of the man. Very cool stuff. Here is a skull. I'll talk about that. I'm going to show you how to turn some graphics into printable stuff. So I'm going to put 3 and add 4 more. Okay, so these plop 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 plop. Oops, take a second. Plop plop plop. Okay, you see they're all plopulating, and I'll talk about all of these in a second. Okay, let's see what we got here. Hold the phone, Margaret. Okay. So we have the skull, we have this flower, we have Santa, we have Manhattan Bridge, and we have this dog. Now, all of these are pixel-based because they're not vector-based. So figure you have 2 types of media here. You have right now you have pixel-based. So pixel-based are size restrictive. So if you blow them up to a certain size, they're gonna start getting fuzzy and pixelated. What I want to turn these into are vector-based. When you turn them to vector-based, then you can scale them up however you want. So people like grab stuff from the internet, pictures. Those are usually 72 dots per inch, and of course you can't use them to begin with. But for your own art, you have to convert it to a size that is print ready. So because if not, if you've done it before and you see stuff like pixelated, that means that it's not the appropriate size. 150 or preferably 300 DPI is a very high resolution for print quality. And so there's 2 different things. You have video quality, video resolution, and print resolution, completely different. Video resolution can be like 72, that's fine. But print resolution has to be at least 150 and preferably 300 DPI because that's a different type of process. So I use 3 programs. I use Adobe Capture, I use Adobe Illustrator, and Adobe Photoshop, all part of the Adobe suite, which I highly recommend. A fantastic deal. Fantastic. I love it. So what you do is for an example for like the skull and the black and white stuff, you can just, if you're sketching, you can just use Adobe Capture, which will use it on your phone. It's a fantastic program, and you use it on your phone, and it takes a picture and it turns into vector, and it's fantastic. I mean, this is a perfect. The skull is a perfect example of a vector. Even that the detailed art of the bridge is a perfect example of how it can be turned into vector. Once you bring it into vector, you can bring it into Photoshop or Illustrator. I prefer to bring it into Illustrator. And then you can manipulate it further. The color ones are different. So these are the color ones I actually did in Photoshop. I took a screen capture of it, and now I turned it back. It was 300. I turned it back to 72 when I made a screen capture, and I brought it back into Illustrator to show you how it would look. So I'll get some questions. What are the questions people are asking? Okay. So now let's look at how that works. So hold on a second. Okay, so I'm going to, okay, so now I'm in Illustrator. And if I do, you can see when I do the wireframe view, they're all pixel based. So none of these are vector yet. Okay, so let's just do, sure I'm in the screen. So what you do is, for example, you take this piece right here, and you use image trace. See that? don't know if you can see. Well, I don't think you can see the menus, but image trace is part of it of Illustrator program. You select this and you turn it into image trace. Now I'm clicking the black and white feature, and you see it already changed, right? So it's changed, and you can do different types of manipulation. I can do low, or I can do different types of threshold. It takes a little while to process. My computer's a little slow. See how I'd like to reduce the blackness, so we can do lots of black and it like be clean that way. I just love it because you can do very clean blacks and lines. So now it has white. So if I hit ignore white, it's going to totally, since it's got a little black, it's got rid of the white outline and the white surrounding area. So I'm going to reduce the black some more. Okay, so now it's the way I like it. And now I'm going to do expand, and that actually turns it into the vector. See, it's still a little black. So if I do a wireframe now, you see how it created the outline. So it's pretty amazing what you can do. So that is an example of how you can turn your illustrations from a notebook into high resolution art in Illustrator. I'm actually not going to do the other ones because I'm bored, and no one is here. So we'll see if anyone likes it, and we'll do some more in the future. But I really love this new platform called StreamYard. It's pretty cool, and talk to you soon.